Hi there. So in this video, I'm going to tell you what I did to come out of the heart anxiety. The previous video I shared with you my heart anxiety story, how it all started for me. So now I'm going to tell you what I did. The first thing I did was to understand and accept that indeed I am dealing with heart anxiety, and it had gotten pretty bad. And there was no friend, no family member, no therapist, no doctor who would be able to get me out of this situation. I knew that I was the one who had to take charge and get myself out of it. And that was the first step. That is going to be the first step for you as well. Um, because it's this deep, dark pit that you fall into, and only you know what are the things that you're afraid of. So you need to take charge instead of running from one doctor to another, or putting the responsibility or the power outside of you in somebody else and expecting that somebody else is going to make you better. So that was the first step. The second thing I did was to get a thorough consultation done, get a thorough evaluation done. So I had gone to a cardiologist the first time, right? That was where the whole story started. But I realized that because I was not convinced and I had lost confidence in my heart, and I just was constantly second guessing and thinking that, every time I have palpitations, said, oh my God, something's wrong with my heart and something's been missed. Something, some rare thing I may have that has gotten missed if the usual things have not been picked up, or if the usual things are clear. So I thought, let me just go and get an evaluation done. That's what I suggest you do. You meet a cardiologist. If one is not enough, you meet another doctor. Choose somebody whom you trust, who's open to you asking questions, who will spend time with you, who will answer all your questions, whose expertise you trust, and ask all your questions. By then we have Googled enough, we've spent enough times in forums, we know all the possible tests that are done in the, by a cardiologist, and to check, to evaluate your heart health. We know everything. So just go there to your doctor and don't. Hesitate or don't feel embarrassed or hold things back, because this is your chance. This is what will get you out of your fears. So go and tell your doctor that I'm having these anxious feelings, and I'm afraid that something is wrong with my heart. These are the symptoms that I'm having. This is my family history. This is what my lifestyle is. And do you think that any other tests need to be done? Do you think that this is a test that I've read up about? Do you think that if I do it, it will help me feel a little less anxious about my heart health? And just go and have a very open and honest discussion with your cardiologist. When I went to my cardiologist, I went with the objective that I'm going to be very, very open with him, and tell him what I'm afraid of. Ask him if there are any other tests that he thinks we should do. And I was convinced about I had confidence in his expertise. So after that, I decided that I'm not going to go to another doctor, or when palpitations come, I'm not going to go and get another ECG done, because that was all ruled out. Um, not going to go to ask a second or third or fourth or fifth opinion from somebody else, because it had to stop somewhere. It has to stop somewhere. You can go for a follow up after a year, and that's what he said. You need a follow up after a year if you think that you want to. But otherwise, if there are no new symptoms that come up, my doctor said that you don't need to come and meet me again till there are any new symptoms. And I decided to stick with what he's saying, to go with what he's saying. Now you will have to have that resolve to not go, but the second step is going to be to first get a consultation done, rule out everything, get all your blood tests done, and have no doubt in your mind. The third step was to get moving. Now there are a lot of movements, a lot of different kinds of exercises, right? There's cardio, there's yoga, there's Pilates, there's a lot of different things. When you're dealing with heart anxiety, I think we are just afraid to even move. Because I have always been, I'm a fitness enthusiast. I love yoga, I love exercising, going for walks, all of those things. I tell you, when I had my first episode of palpitations, and like I've shared in the previous story, from the time I came back home, I was just afraid to even get up from the couch. It was that bad. Because I just thought that something's wrong with my heart, and this doctor has missed it. And it was around the same time that I had also got to know about the passing away of two young people who were very healthy and suddenly had a heart attack and died. It was around the same time that I had that event, what I spoke about in the previous video. So I just felt that, till they rule out what, till they find out what the problem is. I can't put any pressure on my heart. So I was not walking very fast, I was not climbing stairs, I was just, exercising was out of the picture for me. And the moment I decided that, no, I need to start taking things in my hand, what I started doing is just moving very, very slowly, but moving. So in the early days, I was just moving. It was just about getting out of your house and moving very slowly at whatever pace you want for like maybe 5 minutes or 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever it is. Then you gradually build up the momentum. So you start with walking, start with stepping out of your house, then you walk slowly, you increase the time. And I remember I was walking one morning outside my house, and somebody passing by said that. It's morning, you should be doing a brisk walk. Mornings are meant for brisk walks, not for this. Post dinners are meant for this stroll, because I was walking at snail's pace. And this elderly gentleman made this comment, and I said, yes, yes, because only I knew what I was doing. And for me, even that snail's pace walk was a big thing. So it started with that, but I made it a point that every day I was moving, and I gradually increased the time and I increased the intensity. So when you're dealing with heart anxiety, the kind of exercise you need is, you need cardio. You need to do something that brings back the confidence in your heart health. Once you've been given the clean sheet by your doctor. So usually I don't do too much cardio, but during those 2 3 months when I was making myself recover from heart anxiety, I made it a point to do cardio every day. And I started with walks. I then was gradually jogging, brisk walk, then jogging, then running. And I was doing hit, I was doing stair climbing, of course, very, very slowly. And it was not like a linear thing. There were some days when my symptoms were high. I would have a lot of chest pain or palpitations, and again, I would lose confidence. And then some days, and the next day it would get better. But I kept going at it. So that's what you need to do. You need to move, get in some form of cardio, and keep pushing yourself every day to move. Um, then I also did. I also took some magnesium. Magnesium glycinate is what I was taking, so that it would help me sleep better. I also fixed my sleep because I realized the sleep was bad. In those days, I wasn't sleeping very well, so I made sure that at least an hour before bedtime, I was not looking at the screen. I was just relaxing, having a winding down routine, and sleeping by around 10:30. I would go off to sleep, and I would wake up at around by around 6:30. I would wake up, make sure that I just get up without lazing and staying in bed and just scrolling my phone or anything like that. Get up and go out for my walk. So I made sure that I fixed my sleep. um, and the other thing is I did is I maintained a heart diary. Okay, now this is something interesting which I did. I just got this idea and I did it, and I think it helped me a lot. Is that every time I had a symptom, so you can do this in a diary, a physical diary, or just make notes in your phone. Every time I had a physical symptom, every day I was literally tracking my symptoms. So if I had some pain in the chest, I would make a note that I had, with the date, that I had pain in the chest, or I had palpitations, or I was climbing stairs and I became more breathless, or I had pain on the left side radiating to my arm. Whatever it was, I was just making a note of it. Now, why this helps is that when you're having heart anxiety, you're very hyper focused on the area of your chest or on your heart or your breathlessness and everything. You do spend a lot of time with your oximeter and your BP instrument. I'm a health coach myself, so people who know me will be surprised that I actually went through something like that. But it is what it is. And so when we are having heart anxiety, because we are doing all these things, checking our pulse rate, checking our heart rate, checking our blood pressure, we are then hyper fixated on things. If the heart rate goes too low, we are worried. If the heart rate goes too high, we are worried. Because of that, every time you have something, you forget that this has happened before. Just maintaining a heart diary will help you understand that, hey, I have had this symptom before. And you kind of then start using time to your advantage, because if you realize that it's been 1 week that these symptoms have happened, I had this chest pain even a week ago, and a week later, here I am. I haven't dropped dead. I haven't had a heart attack. I haven't had symptoms so bad that have been required to take me, to warranted me going to an emergency ward. None of these things have happened. So that way, it's like one day after another getting added. And then you start using time to your advantage because you realize that if in 1 week nothing has happened and then 15 days pass and nothing has happened, it's been a month and nothing has happened, then you're stupid if you then don't regain that confidence in your body, because then you realize that heck, if something had to happen with my heart, if my heart was indeed having an issue, it should have happened by now. I've been doing all kinds of things. I've been pushing myself every day. I've been doing cardio. I haven't dropped unconscious, or I haven't had severe pain that I haven't had a heart attack. My heart is okay. It has been heart anxiety. But if you don't make a note of it, if you're not consciously making a note of it, we forget. That's how our brain works. And we think that, oh, this is the first time I'm having this sensation. This sensation is something different. It's not come before. But if you're just tracking your symptoms, and you don't need to do it for too long, you do it for 15, 20 days, 1 month, and you kind of get the flow of it, and you realize that this is heart anxiety. So start maintaining a heart diary. And the final thing that I had to do was face my fears. And that's what you will have to do. You'll have to face your fears. Now, when we talk about anxiety of any kind, there though heart anxiety is manifesting in a similar way for everybody. We're all afraid of, something being wrong with our heart. The underlying fear, what is the fear for you, may not be the same for me. So, for some of us, the fear may be we have a fear of death. Okay, that may be one fear. For somebody else, it may be the fear of how this is going to impact us professionally. That maybe we will lose hours on our job, maybe we will be suffering financially. That may be a fear for somebody else. For somebody else, for a third person, it may be fear of us being unable to be available for our family, to be taking care of our family. For somebody else, it may be that it's going to affect the quality of life, how my life is going to be affected once I have a heart event. For somebody else, it may be some other fear. So you need to question yourself that when I'm afraid of something going wrong with my heart, what is it that I'm really afraid of? Question yourself that and see what are the answers that come out for you. For instance, for me, when I question myself that what am I afraid of when it comes to heart health, why am I afraid of this? Am I afraid of dying? At this point, the answer was no, and things are not really in my control if that happens. Okay. Am I afraid of how things are going to affect me financially? I said no, because probably won't matter that much at this point. Is it how it's going to affect me professionally? A little bit. I was concerned because I said, I'm a health coach, and if I have a heart event at this early in my life, how is that going to reflect about me? Okay, so that was one thing. Then what else I was afraid of? And when I kept questioning, I realized that I was most afraid of how I am going to logistically manage things if I have a heart event and I need to be in a hospital. I don't know how many days I'm going to be in the hospital. Who is going to manage my home? Who is going to help me take care of my kids? That's what I was afraid of. And how it's going to affect the quality of my life henceforth. What kind of a parent I'm going to be? How is it going to affect me then? And I sat with that fear and I realized that what is it that I can do about that? And I thought that, well, when I need help, I can ask for help at that time. And help will come. Help has always come. There are people, there's family, people will come and help. So, if that is something that I'm afraid of, then that's not really a rational fear, because I need to ask for help when I get there, if at all I do get there. Then I thought that maybe I'm afraid of what if things happen to me when it happens in an emergency and I'm not able to reach a hospital, or I'm not able to get the care then. And I sat with that fear and I questioned myself that if that happens, then what? And I just had to accept that if that happens, first of all, I'm not living in a jungle or in an isolated city. I'm living in a city where it's easy to reach a hospital most times. And for how long am I going to live in this fear that what if I'm not able to get the right help at the time that I need it? I cannot always plan my life like that, and I cannot always live in that fear. I had to somewhere accept that I have got myself checked. The doctors told me nothing's wrong with me. I'm still having palpitations. I'm still having chest pain. It's probably due to anxiety. And now, if I want to continue living a life that I was living before all of this started, then the only way is to let things go and to let whatever has to happen happen. But for that, you will have to sit with your fears the way I had to sit with mine. And somewhere you will have to accept the way forward is just accept that whatever has to happen will happen, and that's not going to happen overnight, because you will have ups and downs and some days where it's easier to accept. But with time, if you dedicated to this with time, within a couple of months, 6 months at max, you will be totally out of this. You will be totally out of this. And it's not that I don't have palpitations now. I do have palpitations at times, and at times they're pretty intense. But I never go check it. I'm never afraid. I'm never thinking, oh, I need to go and get an ECG done again, or I need to check my blood pressure. I'm never doing any of those things. I mean, they just come and go. It's just something that happens sometimes. Um, if I'm a little stressed, I haven't slept enough, or just PMS, it comes and it goes, and I don't bother much about it. um so yeah, this was it. This was my story of how I recovered from it. I hope that this is of some help to you. If you have any questions, then leave them in the comments, and I'm sure that you will find a way to get out of this just as I did. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you in the next video.